Yo, yo, yo. Alright. I'm here, man. I'm here. Yo, for now, I'm gonna go by Jay, but y'all can call me King Culture. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a culture I'm trying to build. This, this is a cult following I'm trying to build. And cult is not necessarily a good or evil thing. It's just a prefix of the word culture. It's the root of the word culture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to put my stuff out there and let like minds gravitate if what I say resonates with you. You feel me? So it's this topic that's been going around heavily that I've been hearing. And it's really what made me come out from under my rock and speak out. Because this whole thing between, this back and forth between black males and black females, it's got to a point where we're like slinging mud back and forth with each other, right? But a couple things that I just can't get with because I live it on a daily. I am a black man. And I've been a black man for some years now. I live this on a daily. So I see whatever maybe you don't see it because you're not privy and you're not in a loop. And that is when you hear black women talk about, oh, the black man is conquered. he's conquered and he's living in a white dominated society, right? And they're not building anything. What are they building? All right, we gonna get into that because I'm an electrician, right? I'm in New York. I'm in a union, and in that union, the whole thing is about a collective, you know. And we have a subgroup in the union, and you can do your research on this. It's called the Lattimore Club in New York City. That is a collective of intelligent black people who come together to build and produce more black people. And that's pretty much what a community is, aside from starting with your family. You start at home with your family, but then once you get your family intact, you come together with like minds, with other progressive individuals. And that's what the Lattimore Club is. That's just one example that I see. And of course, I was in the military. And veterans in general, those are all collective things that build together with like minds. Okay, so I was an electrician in the Navy, and then when I got out the Navy, I started studying electrical engineering. So I'm going to school studying physics and calculus, and it's mad hard. At the same time, I'm trying to play ball. I'm trying to play on a basketball team. And people are going to know who I am because clearly I was going to NYU playing on the engineering basketball team. But I was studying so hard with physics and calculus and trying to balance that with making it into practice that I was failing my classes. So, of course, I had to choose one, so I had to fall back from playing ball. And I eventually had to, because the VA was paying my tuition through vocational rehab, right? So I had to follow this degree plan in order to get that money. And since I was failing, they're not going to pay, at that time it was like $40,000 a semester. They're not going to keep paying that for me to keep failing my classes. So I backed out of that, and I just backtracked, not backed out the whole engineering, because I just backtracked and went to a public school, a CUNY school. That's a city university, New York City. And they have all schools across the city. And they're a fraction of tuition because they're a public school, they're not a private school. But I still pursued my engineering degree, and I got my associates in engineering science. So you can apply that to whatever. So of course, all I have to do is take that transcript and transfer it, the whole thing, to a city college, and I would have 2 more years to get my bachelor's in engineering science. So I'm working. I'm at that point. I gotta make money. I've been out the military for a minute. I've been failing class. I've been living it up, playing ball. It was time to make money, so that's when I got in a local union, and I started like getting exposed to how unions are a collective build of like minds, and it's a thing called collective bargaining. Once you get a certain amount of people, you can sling your weight around politically, locally, or whatever, and we're all financially at a certain point. We can pool our money together. That's a mentality that I'm glad that I've been working with people who's making twice or three times more than I make, because I'm not afraid to surround myself with people who make more than me. That's how you learn, and eventually, when I get to that point, I'll be able to school the same person under me in the same type of way. This is how you're gonna put your money together. We're gonna build it. So you only as good as the people you keep company and who surround you. So, I forgot to say, when I was playing ball, basketball is not just that's why when they say LeBron should shut up and dribble, basketball is not just a sport to show off your manly or your Neanderthal strength, your brute strength. That as well is a collective of like minds cooperating together, moving as a unit. That's what teamwork is. And you can't tell me all these black guys you see out here playing ball, different guys. When you go in the gym with 50 dudes, everybody has ego, a certain level of ego. That is a given. But imagine what it takes to dial your ego back a little bit in order to achieve a certain goal. You gotta come together. We do that on a daily basis, bro. So I don't want to hear nothing about what we're not building anything. It takes time to build things, and you have to start at a certain level. And then on top of that, how are you gonna build anything if your woman is totally going against everything you're trying to say? Again, it has to start at home first. So we're gonna build this with or without you. So you can get on this train with us, or you can keep saying, "Oh, what are y'all doing?" And then once we finally show, yo, this is the community that we've been building, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to jump on the train then when it's already moving 100 miles an hour? Alright. So that was kind of my intro. So I took notes, because I'm that kind of guy where I'm more of a writer than a speaker, and then I take my words and I put them in lyrics, and then I give y'all a style to run with like that. So I took notes, so I'm gonna kind of take it slow now, and kind of go through these bullet points in an orderly fashion. Right? Alright, so I just have to start off by saying, I was playing ball in Staten Island, right? It's after my college day, so I'm not there to prove anything. I just love the game, and I needed that sweat. But I was cooking dudes in there, and mind you, this is around 4 or 5 before the regular hoopers show up. So I would go to Staten Island periodically, because I knew the sales rep that was there who was trying to get me to be a trainer, seeing that I had military background. But yeah, I'm there early cooking niggas, and one dude was getting tight, started talking mad spicy, so my natural instinct is to start biting back, right? But the sales rep that I was hooping with, he was hooping with me. He pulled me to the side and was like, "Yo, Jay, look at the score, bro. We cooking them. You don't gotta be screaming on them like that to prove to nobody." And then it hit me. That spoke to me. It made so much sense. Now in this case in particular, between the back and forth between black men and black women, in this podcast, and I'm new to these YouTube streets, right? So I'm gonna attempt to take a little more calm approach, knowing that I'm not the defeated one. We're not the defeated ones. I already told you the collective group that we've been building. That just I know alone on myself, and I'm pretty sure like in every other major city, in every other state, there's similar collectives of great thinkers and builders and innovators. So I don't walk around with that defeated mentality. Whoever does that, sorry to hear that for you, but I'm not with that at all. Alright. Pardon me ahead of time if you take offense to these things stated on this show. But I'm a straight shooter, so I know sometimes facts is kind of hard to stomach for some of y'all. The truth hurts. Sometimes it hurt enough, so I'll attempt not to fan the flames, and I'll try to be diplomatic about this shit. Because again, we are not the defeated ones. You can't be afraid to be the guy on the bottom, like I said before. We may be on a certain level because, yes, through back in the day, I mean, we were brought over as slaves, not all of us, but a lot of us. And we were in this society that we had to build. And of course, it was for the benefit of white people. I'll just say it like that. And our interests and concerns weren't even taken into thought at all. But we did build this country. So of course we're gonna partake in what anything we can get out of this country if we invested our blood, sweat, and tears in it. But on our way and on our road to success, you can't just count us out like, oh, they're not building anything. No, we started like they had like a 400-year head start. Just put things in perspective like that, and then look around and say, oh, take away all their advantages, and we start at square one and see where we'd be at. But we're not even thinking like that because we're not the defeated ones. I sure don't possess that defeated mindset. I look at everything in a logical sense, like, where am I? Where am I trying to go? What is it going to take to get there? How can we come together to get each other to this point? So that's what any builder, any logical thinker would, any critical thinker would do. So, like I was saying, in my field of work as an electrician, yeah, I'm coming in to New York City. I'm not even from here, but I'm like at the bottom. But that means there's so many more making more money than me at this moment, and that's a good thing. Because I don't want to surround myself with people necessarily with people who are doing less than me. I associate with plenty of people, but you are who your surroundings are. So on a daily basis, I'm building with people who thinking a lot farther than anyone that you might be dealing with. Y'all may call Dusty or whatever. We're not speaking that language over here, is all I'm saying. So, and if you don't recognize what a intelligent man, what a builder looks like, what an innovator looks like, I mean, whose fault is that? Is that our fault that you don't recognize it? You can't see it from the people you've dealt with. That's all you can come up with. Some dusty guy who's making. And then the people who are not dusty, I won't even say this quote unquote high value people. I use the word builder and innovators because that could mean anything on the spectrum from here to there. It's because it's neither here nor there. So I would just say builders. What makes you think I don't want to be there. I don't want to get on this. But what makes you think that we're necessarily checking for you? Could it be that you are out of the loop and you just don't engage in these conversations because these conversations of building is not had with you. Therefore, that's why you don't see it around you. Because one thing for sure, me personally, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I'm a man of a certain age. I've been married young. I've been all across the world, seen all types of women in my life. And you know who I chose to marry, who I chose to marry at the time, who was in proximity. And we made it last for like 7 years. That's good for a military marriage. But whatever the case is, I'm not at the stage of my life where I have time to waste and feel like I have something tugging on me, dragging me down. I'm at the point in my life that you got to be on a certain page with me, and we got to be kind of like in the same mind frame. Where are we trying to go with this, you know? So if you're not that, then no, I'm not having those conversations with you. I'm putting this out now because, I mean, it's just an influx. Like, I was kind of like pushed out into this. I got a homie who wants to jump on the podcast with me. And he's asking me like, yo, Jay, the shit you be kicking, will we be at work and everything? I kick that ism. Y'all get used to me. And I was like, yo, I don't want to put myself out there right now. I'm trying to make music. I am in a process of building my empire, you know? So especially because I'm an artist too, so like, an artist doesn't like to put himself out there so much until he's close to a finished product. So I'm like, yo, y'all could kick whatever y'all want to kick, man. I'm over here building. But then it's like, these YouTube streets is crazy, man. Every time I just open the app, I'm like, oh, really? Really? What are y'all building? Really? I would just have to say, yo, get in tune, man. If you don't know, now you know. So that's me speaking on this collective argument. And again, Google, I don't know if it's Lewis Lattimore, but I know the club that's in our union, in our local union, is called the Lattimore Club, and that's a collective of black people who are innovators and builders. And what are we building? Like, what is society here? We live in the United States. You can't get around that. This is where we live. This is where we've been living for ages. So we participate in the whole infrastructure of this New York City, and I'm sure all over the world, all over the country in different states, it's the same thing. They have the same kind of united mentality. But on a day-to-day, we contribute to something of economical value, whether it's powering your home, residence, powering commercial buildings, powering the subways, anything that needs energy, we're a part of building that. And that's pretty much everything. If you've ever been in a city when we had a blackout or brownout, it's spooky when it gets dark. So come on. And that's just a group of electricians over here. And I told you, in a couple years I'll have my bachelor's in electrical engineering, and I'll be a part of a team of people designing the schematic diagrams. That's laying a blueprint, that's laying a foundation of what you see in the infrastructure of New York City. So if that's not enough, I don't know what to tell you. But then again, we're not gauging ourselves on what you think about us. We're actually gonna leave you in the dust, just to be frank. And shout out to my black veterans in all the CUNY schools and veterans in general, you know. What are we building? Yo, like, we're building a fortress to protect what's here. So once you do build something, then you have a whole shield of defense, a whole department of defense protecting you while you sleep, wherever you're sleeping. I mean, that's what you do in a society. And like think of it like this, right? In the United Nations, all these countries, they're sitting at the table, and it's like, yeah, you can go make your own table. That's theoretically, yeah, that makes sense. But practically, we're here at this table in the United States. So we at least want a seat at the table while we can still venture off and build our own table. But think about this. Like, that's one thing, that is one problem. I will agree. We don't have that on a wide scale, that connection with the African continent and those countries over there. They're divided in themselves. They'll see like Sudanese people from South Sudan getting like exterminated, eliminated, and they'll be in the next country over and be like, yo, I do not want to be a part of this problem. This is not my business. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, that can explain why there is some kind of disconnect where we don't have that international kind of thing where we're here in America, but we can do like these other countries and make our money and send it back to our motherland. We don't have that kind of back and forth going on. And I'll speak about that a little more later. But we are building. Just understand that. Alright, so, yeah, like I was saying, there's inventors and investors who make up the infrastructure of society. And there's those who are appointed to executive positions to maintain what's already been built. And those are the positions that can be obtained through hard work, but also more easily infiltrated by aggressive ladder climbers, is what I would call them. Those ladder climbers who are would literally take advantage of any opportunity to step on someone else in order to climb the social status ladder. Those positions that you've been propped up in, those are those kind of positions. The manager of some restaurant, the manager of Office Max or something like that. Like a lot of women fit into that category where they flirt with the nerds in class to get them to do all the hard work for them. All the work like math and science, and I was a math tutor. And those calls for critical thinking. They usually set up a system of cheaters all collaborating to pass around answers for the tests and homework assignments. Anything to help them catapult them to that next level. And then they're even willing to throw in like subtle sexual favors in exchange for help up that ladder. And I mean, I participated in myself kind of. I've done homework for girls, you know. Yo, it will help them short term, but at the same time, I would insist like, yo, come back on a regular to actually get an understanding. I could help you with it now, but if you don't understand, it's gonna catch up with you. Especially when it's time to come take the test. I could do your homework and hear the answers, but when it's time to take the test, you're gonna be exposed. Even though I'm aware of they have like a string of test answer passes, where they pass the answers around the network and get the answers. They even do that and for a period of time, I was like, fuck out of here. I got me. But then I see how they're playing, and they're not playing fair. So it's like, yo, you're not about to get me, have me in here frying my brain, trying to do all these hard formulas or whatever, and everybody else is passing them around, passing answers around. So I'm like, okay, what's up? Give me the answers. Why? I just I'm gonna have to edit that part out. Nah, I ain't editing shit. You know why? Because I mean that's what it is. Because regardless, it can stop that right now, and I'm still gonna make it. I'm still gonna be building. But I just use that as an example because I see what's going on, like across the board in all fields. This is how women hoarding for attention from males in order to use them as utilities and extract resources from them. But it furthers the claim that men are the builders of society, period. And black men play a major role in that from the bottom to the top of the totem pole. Say what you want. And you're not a hunter, you know? I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say a lot of you. A lot of you women are more like scavengers or parasites sucking the blood from actual builders. That's how you make us feel when you treat us like, oh, we're utilities. Like, oh, I can just extract this resource from him, I can extract that from him. And when it doesn't go my way, I can disregard him and jump off this pipe and go to the next, hop on the next. You know what I'm saying? But we're the ones building. If we didn't build it, then there will be no one in the building to do any kind of administrative work. And women do make very good, they do possess very good clerical skills. So I could understand how it could be propped up into certain administrative positions. But just respect who built the foundations from the ground up. Let me give you an example. Like certain animals are hunters. They're high on the food chain. But then you have these rodents who roam the earth picking through scrap. And this is why their stomach is never full and they're always in that hoarding mind frame. Because they don't know where their next meal is coming from. It's a lot like these New York rats, yo. They get beside themselves and they become bold enough to attempt hunting tactics. But they're not hunters, they're scavengers. Now, this example, I was working in a subway. I'm coming down the steps and this rat is like high in between these pipes, kind of high. The pipes protruding out the wall and they're kind of high. And if I didn't notice him at first, he could have jumped on me as I passed coming down the stairs and climbed into my bag without me realizing it. And he could have possibly ate my food, you know? Ate the food, ate my lunch right out of my bag. But this rat was just not that clever. And when I spotted him, I could have violated and threw my hot coffee on him right away. And even still, he displayed this whole mentality of that of a leech. You know, a parasite. In nature, only looking to feed off what's already been built by someone else. Similar to like a pocket thief out here. You know, you bump into a guy, you brush up into somebody in crowded New York, and they snatching pockets and snatching old women's purses. Come on, man. It's a big difference, man. Anybody can snatch a purse. Anybody can swipe and scam. And trust me, they're not playing fair out here in New York, yo. Scamming shit. From scamming shit to escorts and all that, man. They're not playing fair. So you might possess a certain amount of money or whatever, but where does that come from? From scavenging from this guy, and accumulating it. Let me just distinguish between innovators versus women who possess good clerical skills and propped up into certain positions. How did they get in that position? What work did they put in to get in that position? And then who edged them along, gave them that extra little push, you know what I'm saying? And what dude they got at home supporting them. Because if he could have if the dude at home pulls the plug, like, where you gonna live? In a homeless shelter or something? Or you gonna bunk bed with another scavenger out here? Nah, you gonna sit right there. You gonna come home to this dude. Sadly, he's playing the stepdad role. You're gonna come home to him, give him hell, talk down on him. You done already kicked the real father out the house, or drove him out the house. And we're not gonna get too much into that, because it's not how I wanted to take. This is not the direction I wanted to take this show. I told you I wanted to stay more diplomatic, and we don't have to get at nobody to, like. I don't have to get at you, because I'm not the defeated one. This goes to any black man that's out here that's like putting in real work, working on yourself. You have a purpose in life, and you building towards that purpose, and you're networking with those like minds around you. Don't get into a back and forth with anyone. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you stay silent. You're moving silently, and then boom, one day, the fruits of your labor will reveal itself to those who need to see that. Yeah, man, but I got a lot of female family members. They work in human resources and stuff like that. Women make great they possess great clerical skills. Even my ex-wife, who was a nurse, she worked well in a structured system that was already put together. In the medical field, that's a big business that's been around for ages. And the doctor kind of run things, but you got the nurses doing the work. Yeah, they're doing the work, but it's the brains of the work. Kind of like in the engineering field, the engineers they're like designing, laying a foundation through the blueprints, schematically. But then they hand it off to the mechanics, or the actual workers in the field. I'm on both levels, so y'all not talking about me. Y'all not saying nothing to me. I can get busy on any level, but what I'm trying to say is the doctors in the medical field are kind of like the engineers. They're doing the research and prescribing. Of course, they're just like, what do you call it, glorified drug dealers, drug pushers. They are. But in order to know what type of drug to push, they do got to do some kind of work. And I've been in classes studying chemistry with people who are pursuing in the medical field. And half the girls, they struggle with calculus, but you got to pass calculus to get that bachelor's. So what do? They come to the math lab to get help. But when it comes to like organic chemistry and stuff like that, that's a lot of brain power. But the doctors are kind of like laying the blueprints, right? But the nurses are doing a lot of the grit work in those hospitals, and I'll give them that. It's a structure that's already been put together, but they work well within that structure. But that's clerical work. It's a difference between the innovators who had this thought process and said, yo, if we pool our money together, we could build this in the future. Okay, once it's built, then you could bring all the people in and you could appoint people like, yo, you're over the human resources, you're gonna manage finances, you're gonna be the CEO, you're gonna be the CFO, that's chief finance. You get what I'm saying? Like, those positions have been appointed after the innovators, inventors put the things together And of course, the investors who always had that one up on anybody anyway and had the money to pool them in the first place, to pool it together. Some would say the investors are the smarter ones. I wouldn't necessarily go there and say they're the smarter ones, but if the light bulb went off in their head to utilize their money more than they have to utilize their brain power of coming up with this something innovative, and they could just buy their way in, then I mean that's pretty smart. I would say it's pretty clever. I would use the word clever. Investors are clever, and I give them their props. But without the innovators, inventors, foreseers, and builders, understand that. And black men have participated in building from the bottom up to the top. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, like think about how Asians and Indians, they come to America, they buy up like the 7-Elevens, the Dunkin' Donuts, the Subway Eat Fresh sandwiches. And in New York, it's funny because you'll see a Dunkin' Donuts on one block, not even a block down the road, you'll see another one. It's like y'all just copying and pasting the same blueprint. When you come from your country, you come like a country in Dubai where, you know, I heard this story, and I'm gonna do a little more research, but I heard the story how in Dubai they give you like these free loans, interest-free loans, and then they scan your eyes, so they got a record of you. So you have to pay that money back, but it's interest-free, and you could take it and run off to America, buy up mad land over here, commercial property for business. As long as you take that money back and pay it back, and it's gonna funnel back into their country, they good. If not, they're gonna fine you because you're in their system. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like they regurgitate that same kind of blueprint in Asia, in India. Africa's the only place. It's a continent. It's a continent of many different countries, and it's not so unified to the point. But a lot of Africans do that too. The ones who didn't what do they call it, raffle off their visas or whatever, or participate in a raffle to get a visa to come over here. There's a lot of, I guess, like Nigerian countries or whatever, Nigerian people in the country who are well off that come over here. But on a broad scale, like the way they do in the Arabic and Asian and Indian countries, that's their thing, like literally. Our country, like China, all these Chinese people, you got a Chinatown in every major city. Why? Because that's their thing. In order for us to expand China, we're gonna send our people that's overpopulated here, we're gonna send them out, but we're gonna give them these interest-free loans. So they come here back with thousands and thousands of dollars that they can just buy up whole communities like that. That's a head start. Where could we have gotten that from if our own people in the motherland are not connected with us like that? So come on, what are we actually working with? We're building, but come on. From what point did you start? From what point did we start? And we're climbing up this ladder. And then we're on your ass. We're catching up with you. Come on, bro. That in itself speaks how the countries in Africa are divided and tribal. Yo, I hope to God I'm still recording this, because sometimes I think like I got a lot going on my computer. I have no idea. But anyway, yo, I just hope I'm recording this. But you know who Dr. Claude Anderson is? Do you understand his philosophy of powernomics? This is a black man laying the foundation of black empowerment. But how are we supposed to implement this when the majority of our females are lost causes, and you can't tell them shit without getting defensive or deflecting. They speak on subjects using this white regressive, I won't say white supremacist, I'll say regressivist, white regressivist talking points. They use these white regressivist talking points and are obviously out of the loop from reality of what's really taking place out here. But one thing for certain, black men still believe in building a family structure of generational wealth. We're gonna do it with or without you, know. Most every man I know in my circle of builders, inventors, innovators, athletes, and engineers, they have a family to go home to. And I was married we had a good run. So we believe in that whole family structure. Now, I can't speak on their side pieces. That's for them to defend their own reasoning. And that's why I stay single right now. Until I can get like 2 brilliant women to fully buy into the whole poly trio, I'm good. I could be single. I could be single out here, bro. Like, cause we gonna do that we gonna get it how we get it, regardless. Whether you know it or realize it or not. I'm dealing with you over here. You bullshitting. What you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be over here. So it's gonna happen one way or another. So me personally, I'm not with like playing mind games and lying. I can't keep no lie like that. I can't keep no whole double life over here without you knowing. I'm gonna tell you straight up what it is. So I think it would make more sense for us to just come together. And that's a topic for a whole nother day. Like, how we're gonna build a family structure. What are you lacking? Like, what am I lacking? What do you want? What do I want? How can we come to make that happen? That's another conversation for another day. Cause I could go deep on why women feel the need for so much attention, right? But then it's like, why do men physically need sex so much? I mean, but how can you solve that? If it's the attention that you really want, well, here. While I'm out working, busting my ass, kicking with your sister over here. Y'all entertain each other then if you tired, I understand you tired. I'm not gonna sweat you. I'm not gonna put that kind of pressure on you. But then I got your sister that's like more than willing. Then we cook each other breakfast in the morning. Feel me? That's another topic. We're not gonna even get on that right now. I'm trying to talk about building. But me personally, I could deal with. I think I just believe that. And I support the idea, especially in these times, that a man should have as many wives as he can afford to take care of. Keyword, take care of. Not necessarily cash out and pay everything, but he has the ability. He has the resources. So you don't gotta worry. He's gonna take care of you financially, mentally, physically, spiritually. If he can afford to do it, I think a man should do that. Me personally, I could only probably emotionally deal with 2 at the most anyway. So I have my run. You know what I'm saying? I could tell y'all mad stories during my military days. And I was trying to be on my best behavior in the military because I was married at the time. But yo, don't even get me started. I'm just happy to be here. I had my run. I'm chilling nowadays, and I'm taking my time because it's like I'm already elevated to a certain state of mind that I don't think one woman would be enough to handle my vision and how I'm all over the place. But at the same time, I don't gotta be out in the streets, man. I be in here producing, building, innovating on a daily and nightly basis. From sun up to sundown, from the moment I come to consciousness, my mind is building and innovating and creating and inventing. So I don't have time to just be out here going nowhere with a bunch of chicks anyway. So I'm all about a family structure, but it's like what kind of family structure? And I would kind of view it as like how the government has checks and balances with the judicial branch, the executive branch, and the administrative branch. You know, one hand washes the other. I'm just gonna leave y'all with that. We'll talk about that again later. But the only way I could condone like black women swirling though, because like I said, we're gonna do it one way or another. So I'm gonna get on this topic. I'm gonna kind of shift topics to this whole swirling topic, because that's another thing that's just been it's running rampant on these YouTube streets. The whole swirling thing. Don't put us in the same category, men and women. You have different reasons, and I'm gonna get into that. The only way I would condone black women swirling though, is if a guy of another race was down with the agenda of black empowerment and shows proof through like his network of peers and a history of contributions to the community. When you do history tells everything, and that history is not looking good. So you want to get with somebody who's creating a track record. Look at this track record. But you're going to do that with any man anyway, right? But just jumping to a white dude for the sake of it, just to say, yo, you dating interracially, so I can too. No, you shooting yourself in the foot, bro. You hustling backwards. But that's on you. You do what you do, because we're going to do what we do anyway. But I'm just saying, just because you feel you can. Yeah, I want to boss up like we bossing up just because you feel like, oh, man could do it. That's not the mic. We all possess certain things that are divine in our own way. Like when they say, oh, we all came from a black woman. That's true, and you should be proud of that. Like, that's your divine whatever. Your divine whatever the fuck. I mean, but be proud of that. But that's not your end all, be all, end all. You still gotta live life. You still gotta like, you're not gonna be out here like getting lit, twerking on tables and like that. And then, oh, you supposed to retrospect me because I'm the black mother earth. Nah, bro, like, come on, man. And if you respect your status as like we call ourselves the original man, if you just respect your status, you're going to uphold yourself to a certain standard. Because me, I'm definitely not lowering my standards, man. I consider myself an elite, I'm not lowering my standards. I'm only going to build myself to better, like physically. I know what I got to get together, and it's stuff that's reasonable that can happen. So I'm not gonna focus too much on like things that's like on a lower vibration than where I'm at right now. And I would just expect the woman to do the same, not just be a carbon copy or duplicating behaviors or mirroring behaviors. That's pointless. Don't just mirror your behavior. Have a purpose and goal in life. And if you're building towards that and this guy happens to be in your proximity and he's another race, go ahead, do your thing. But it's so much spitefulness behind people's intents that, it's fake. And Y'all can have that, bro. Y'all can have that. I mean, because if she's doing all that, like, just because she can, that's evidence right there of how unruly she'll raise her offspring to be. We just don't need any more illegitimate lost causes out here just existing aimlessly. So what I would suggest is she find a decent black man's wing to fall under. Yeah, I said it, yo. Let him lead like we were meant to. But that means you can't just go for any black man. There's a lot of bum ass niggas out here. True. If you would use that 80-20 rule like a lot of quote unquote red pill, it's because there's elite, and then there's average, and then there's below average. And you gotta understand, men across the board, you walk in a room with 10 men, the top 20%, and it ain't just their looks, it's what they're doing, how they moving and what they're building in life, who they're running with, their network of people that's giving them that certain level of confidence that women are flocking to that top 20% and leaving the other 80% is kind of invisible unless they like cashing out. And even with that, they still kind of invisible because the top 20% got the cash too. So it's like, I understand that perspective, how men are kind of salty about that, and how women may feel like, yo. But then, like, I just look at it like it's kind of innate and our most primal instinct for a woman to want to find a provider, and for a man to instinctually, when you really like somebody or when you really feeling a person, me personally, if I feel you, like I care for you, that means I innately just want to take care of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta come at me like you're entitled to it. Nah, it's only an approach. And let me get this story. It's funny because back in the day when I was like 18, I moved out of my house and got my own apartment. But you know, I'm running with my cousins. We turned the streets up in Detroit back in the day. And we got this one chick. We got this girl. I got my car. I'm letting my cousin drive because, you know, I got a car. It ain't nothing new to me. So I'm chilling in the backseat with my chick. And we take them out to eat, whatever. And she tried to really play me. Like, she's like, yo, she's like she had her little fish dinner, in a foam carry out or whatever. And she thought like, oh, she had me. She got a fish dinner out of me. Okay. And then now, like, we in the back, I'm trying to make out with her, and she started like shoving my head down. She started shoving my head down towards like her denim shorts, like kind of like basically saying, yo, you gonna eat this box before we do anything else. And I'm looking like, at the time, I'm like, yo, nigga, I don't eat pussy. Fast forward to the day, nigga, I feel like yo and that shit, but not for just anybody. But let me get back to the point. I just felt violated, like, yo, what? I would have been with it if I knew then what I know now. But I was young then, and I'm thinking, nigga, I don't eat pussy like that. Nigga, fuck you. So I'm like, yo, you can bounce, bro. We can get another chick. You know what I'm saying? Easy. But it's just the point. What the point was I trying to make? The point is, like, she felt entitled. Like, oh, you gotta do this. And that little entitlement was kind of like microscopic to the bigger picture. Like, really? For a fish dinner? A fish dinner ain't nothing. And you think you got over on me because you got a fish dinner out of me? Come on, bro. And if you gonna get anything else out of me, you gotta do this first. I'm like, come on. What are we talking about here? That was an old hood story. I just had to use that to make the example, just to give a little example. All right, it might get a little tricky, a little. Y'all might catch some feelings about the stuff I'm saying, but you know, that's something. It's just some real shit we gotta deal with. So yeah, I mean, I suggest you try to discern what a decent black man is by asking questions and talking, like having these mature conversations. And yeah, I'm not a so-called racist, so I'm not gonna say, oh, you think that white girl, whatever. I got family members that tell you Italians. I work with Italians. I'm not gonna even go there. That sounds crazy. I'm all about progressive, like what's his name, Peter Tosse. I'm a progressive man, and I love progressive people. If you regressive, then there the issue lies. But it's inevitable. This way you might catch some feelings, bro, because if you look at the way the world was and is to come, it's inevitable playing out that the majority of this earth is going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a hybrid of the original man and the seed mixed with other races, but clearly we'll possess all the variants of the dominant genes. We'll all possess a variant of that dominant gene. You know what I mean? So imagine like if the most blackest person is 100%, and we got all shades of the spectrum from here to there. We're gonna all possess some variant of that dominant gene. But what is it gonna look like? It's gonna look more like a hybrid of these racially ambiguous people out here. That's just a fact how this world is gonna look. So that might make, and it might explain why certain people are so crazy right now, why they're wilding right now. Because in your most primal state is what? Self-preservation. And even if subconsciously you don't see it, your actions speak loud. They're showing that you're trying to survive here. You're trying to preserve your life here. That's why I say in the beginning, I'm not going to come at you like we're the defeated ones. Like I'm the defeated one. Come on. I see where this world is going. And to be honest with you, I'm all about the natural cycle of life. Life cycle is very natural and very particular how it operates. How from dust you come and from dust you go. So I'm fine with it. If it's your time, if it's my time, it's checkout time, bro. That's how it is. Old cells are replaced with new cells on a daily basis. All we can do while we're living on this earth is progressively support what the life cycle is. And a life cycle is basically to be out with the old and into the new and keep cycling in that same cycle. So I don't know why y'all want to be on earth living forever anyway. It ain't going to happen. And what's to come after life is to be determined. But I know for a fact on this life, it's a life cycle. And it has a beginning and it has an end. You could progressively support that cycle, or you could be regressive, going out this world ass backwards. And that's a lot of people who's going out of this world ass backwards. While I'm here on this earth, I'm gonna be optimal. I'm gonna achieve my optimal amount of life. I don't know if I can explain that in any other kind of way. I'm gonna have to listen to the playback and see how I can further articulate that, what I'm trying to say. But I don't think y'all get it. because I don't even get what I'm saying right now. I kind of lost myself, but I got a point, but I might have to revisit that. Yeah, there's plenty of white people and other races, for example, that play ball with us, and we get along well with what we have in common. So I'm fine with that. White people participate in a certain sector of our world that we build, as long as they respect the foundation laid by the original man. Because there's plenty of black people that I just don't fuck with either. And even if I play ball with them or whatever with them, outside of that, I may not relate much. So it's all the same. If black people like Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed, right? If they want this quote unquote 100% black society, I believe they have the right to pursue and build that type of society where they have a certain school of thought where it's only inclusive or exclusively black. That's fine for them too. So you got swellers over here, you got these exclusively black over here. Me, I would contribute to the exclusively black community as much as they would allow me to. But I always start with a bigger picture, which is more outside of the box. And I realize that we inhabit this whole earth, the original man. So it's inevitable what this world is gonna look like. So I'd rather focus more on principles and build a society guided by a moral compass. Because of course this world is gonna will inevitably look more black and brown than it will white. You get what I'm saying? It's gonna be like this hybrid mix, racially ambiguous type of world, bro. It's not gonna be 100% black. It's not gonna be 100% white, and the more white will fade more than black. But it's gonna be a hybrid of that. That's what this world is going to be, whether we like it or not. It's inevitable. So I'm just supporting life cycle. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I progressively support the life cycle, not regressive. And I think a lot of people need to think like that, but if you don't think like that, it's on you. You can go out this world ass backwards all you want to, but the inevitable will happen. So what side of history do you want to be on? You ask yourself that. So that's why I had to put this out there, because it's like, at this point, we're in bizarro world. It's like, I'm trying to see who the fuck out here got just some common sense. Is that even common anymore? Yo. Like, man, when I look at these videos, YouTube, all over YouTube, just everywhere, I see our people engulfed in this degenerative state of mind mixed with another kind of aggressive spirit that I don't even want to get on right now, because y'all not about to try to. This is why I didn't want to come out in the first place yet, because y'all not about to try and cancel me because you're so sensitive and you can't use your logic. So I'm just going to talk about that later, man. I just leave it with the word degenerative. If it's not progressive, then it's regressive. Just think about that. You could put two left shoes on your feet. Does that make it a good idea to do that, though? You can if you want to. Oh, it's my right. It's my right. Yeah, you can if you want to, but does that make it a good idea? Is that progressive, or are you walking out the house like they would say in the military? Square yourself away. Dumb nuts. Where you going, shit for brains? Come on. Pull yourself together. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. Yo, I'm trying. I've been trying to keep my cool. Like, I'm getting towards the end of my points, and I'm like about to let off the rest of the clip on y'all right now. I maintained my cool for a long time, right? I stayed mad cool. I could get colorful, whatever. Shit ain't logical. If it's not progressive, you're further in this natural life cycle, then what are we talking about? See, like I feel like I may have jumped out the window with this podcast shit prematurely. But I told you I'm an avid subscriber to Claude Anderson and his Powernomics philosophy. But when I see him speaking on a Breakfast Club, when I saw him speaking on a Breakfast Club, he was looking mad feeble and old and kind of incoherent. And it's like, yo, we gotta protect men like him and carry out his agenda because he goes deep with it. And everybody ages. But to carry on that legacy is gonna take somebody younger with more ambition to push that. And you can't trust nobody like Charlemagne. This guy's a fucking clown, bro. You don't represent me. If you know his backstory, this dude, niggas is something else, man. And niggas got people fooled, but whatever. He does have a platform, and that's what most people may have heard about Claude Anderson from. But Claude Anderson been in works putting shit together. And his whole thing about Powernomics is the blueprint of how black society should be building right now. And like I said, I don't know if it's gonna be 100% black. That's where we have a lot of disconnect with people. But everybody black is not your brother. You know, there's so many degenerate types of people, black or white. Me, I just wanna do away with derelicts, yo. I can be cool on my own. I drift off. I make money so I can disappear, man. I don't even want to be on the scene half the time. Black or white, or brown, or Asian, or yellow, red. I don't even want to be on the scene half the time, yo. I just want to disappear half the time. Because it's degenerate derelicts everywhere. What can you even say? But we gotta protect men like Claude Anderson because he has the blueprints. I'm just gonna tell you like that. If you don't know about him, study him and everything he talks from. Like people, oh, did you vote? Did you vote? I'm not ashamed of anything. Yo, I voted for Barack in like what was it, '08? Because he was black, and I was proud to see a black man doing it, even if he's mixed, whatever. He's got one drop. That one drop percent is real. Because when you put the seed and the egg, when they join together, right, and you got certain DNA, the dominant gene is gonna come out, right? So you put two white genes together, they're not gonna make a black gene. You put a black and white one together, it's a possibility you could come out black. This is just facts, science, man. I forgot where the fuck I was going with that, though. It's gonna come to me in a minute. I'm gonna have to pause this shit and run it back. But I was talking about Claude Anderson and the whole Powernomics thing. That's what I was talking about. He's talking about politics, and you're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting ahead of yourself because how can you have politics when you don't even have a community? That's what you're talking about, right? Oh, what are you building? What are you building? We're trying to build, you know? We're like at the foundation. For over 400 years, we're still at the foundation. We are building, but we're still at the foundation, trying to lay a foundation. The foundation starts with your family, first of all. And if y'all don't want to have families and y'all just want to do whatever the fuck y'all want to do, then we're never going to get to the next level. The next level would be to pull your money together in order to have a certain amount of financial empowerment in order to lobby for certain politics. And then you get in those politics back pocket and you push them locally to change laws locally before you jump to federal. government, man, work in your own neighborhoods or whatever, because we don't own those neighborhoods. Yes, it's a lot of people infiltrating. I told you, like the Indians and Arabs, they infiltrate our community and take all our money and resources, and then they take it back to their own country. Y'all don't see what's going on. Y'all haven't. Open your eyes. That is systematic. So you can't talk to us like, oh, we're not doing anything. It's been systematically put in place like this. But if you become aware of it, you can work together to climb your way out of the situation, one level at a time. You're jumping the gun thinking, oh, vote for a president is going to really make a difference. I ain't going to do shit right now. Work on your own family. Work on even the idea of having a family. You can't have a family if you don't create offsprings together and stay together. So I'm not so quick to just jump and rock with anybody, because if you're not on this mind frame, how can I build with you? So you think, oh, I dissed him. No, nigga, I'm not checking for you. So y'all can take that how you want it, man. Yo, I'm out. This shit's mad long. I gotta edit this shit. And I could go on for days, clearly. But y'all just have to stay tuned. If y'all like this, and I see the response I get from this, then I come with some more heat. You know what I'm saying? Put things into proper perspective. But if y'all just gonna stay derelict, then you know what I'm saying? I make my money and drift off, sell off to the fucking. Because the nigga gonna get it how he get it, with or without you, straight up.